Oh, there we go. Okay, right then. Jesus Christ. I thought my thing was not going to record then for a second. Well, you mean and welcome. My name is Yuusha Anime and welcome back to Grisaia. I'm going to read this quickly because it's brought the frame down right to nothing. So, when you see me with my hands empty, call out to her. Sorry. It's because I was trying to figure out if the game had froze because I pressed the record button. It nearly did. So, thankfully, it didn't freeze. Thankfully. So, we can now continue this after the last time where we had a good old English lesson. Jesus Christ. The way that the Japanese say English is igirisu. Igirisu. In case you're wondering. So guys, ikimashouka. That's a line from an old movie I saw once. It basically means that a capable maid should be kept busy at all times. Excluding the bridesmaid, whose main responsibility is getting drunk at a friend's wedding. The essence of the maid is service. Her job is to anticipate her employees' actions and needs, and take care of the dirty work in advance. This generally involves tools of some kind, so a maid who isn't carrying anything tends to be idle. Underemployed maid. You can apply the idea to other occupants as well. A good soldier away carries a well-maintained rifle, and a diligent student who should always have a reference book or two on their person. But in some cases the opposite may also be true, as I've just discovered. There are certain maids who catch your attention when their hands are full rather than empty. Oh. You okay there, Sachi? The maid in question, Komini Sachi, as of fairly recently my classmate. She's carrying a lot of stuff by the sounds of it. Okay? Why are you carrying the bat, Sachi? Just yesterday, we sat at our desks in the same classroom, pursuing our studies together, and now here she is walking in my direction, dragging a metal bat roughly across the floor. This has reminded me of, like, what's it called? Paranoia something. An anime involving a golden bat. Paranoia Agent, I think it was called. Very weird anime, that one. And now here she is walking in my direction. Yeah, across the floor. Just like the clink, clatter, 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 clink that goes with it. In this country where guns and bladed weapons are strictly prohibited, this is about as suspicious as it gets. Show this scene to 10,000 Japanese, and I think everyone will mistake her for a dangerous person. Of course, I don't actually have any proof that that assumption would be a mistake on their part. Maybe she really is planning to burst into someone's room and launch an attack. Oh, so who's the target? Who's the target? Unable to suppress my doubts, I call out to Sachi with the question foremost on my mind. She turns to face me with a blank expression of confusion. Her nonplussed face is enough to confirm that my worst suspicions were unfounded. My interrogation proceeds to the next logical point of inquiry. What's the metal bat in your right hand? A Mizumo? No, that's not the brand. Nismo. I wasn't asking for the brand, and your pronunciation was fine the first time. I just want to know why you have that metal bat in your hand and what you intend to use it for. Ah. Why? Closing her eyes, she nods in satisfaction at resolving the puzzle. If I was having this conversation with someone from Ichigaya, we would have gone to this point in 2 seconds or less. Communication between students, as you can see, is a comparatively involved and troublesome process. Ah, he should have asked for that. She plans to challenge Sakaki to a duel or something? Oh. Your position inside the hierarchy of your community is established fairly quickly. For those determined to move up the ladder, single combat is a fairly common means of advancement. So that's what she's doing. Perhaps this is a good opportunity to witness such a moment of struggle. Mind if I come with you? Okay. Alright then, let's go. Let's find out what the hell Michiru's going to use this for. When we reach Michiru's room, Sachi knocks lightly on the door. Yamakawa Bruma. Yamakawa Bloomer. What? So, mountain river bloomers. Why? With this brief cryptic exchange of words, the door swings open. And hello. In the next moment, a shock of distinctive bleach gold hair springs out toward me. I don't remember doing anything warranting a hug from you, actually. Why not? Just felt like seeing you, Michiri. Oh. Yeah, totally not. Okay. So, what exactly are you planning to use a metal bat for? This is... Hold on a minute. I have multiple questions about you asking for a metal bat, and you're saying it's a girl's secret. Bullshit. Does a metal bat have any female-specific applications? No, it doesn't. What is she going to do? With this exchange, Michiri quickly retreats back into her room, and Sachi starts to walk off with a satisfied expression on her face. Sachi, are you interested in what Michiri plans to use that bat for? Damn diligent as ever. I see. True. Demonstrating the discretion to refrain from inquiring into the circumstances of your clients is a vital step towards establishing trust in business relationships, which is true. Sachi seems to view her responsibility as a class representative from an admirably professional perspective. Impressive, Sachi. You've exceeded my expectations again. Ooh, blushing Sachi. Watching Sachi's face flush slightly red, I continue with my questions. So what's next on your schedule? Is that also a part of your job as a class rep? I see. Seems that woman's been saving on labour costs by relying on volunteers for simple maintenance work. Next time you see the principal getting ready to push work on you, I think you should tell her the following. Come back after you fix the habit of baby talking to your pets. Oh, she's gonna do it! Uh-oh. Also, one more request. Would you mind if I continue observing you work for a while? Something the matter? Okay, what could be so boring? No worries on that front. I've already been entertained enough to last me for a while. Just early, you mean? Sachi tilts her head to the side in a gesture of pure bewilderment. The more time I spend around this girl, the more I realise that she's a natural airhead. The typical is so oblivious she doesn't even realise she's missing out on everyone else's jokes. Alright, that's it. That's that. Sorry, don't mind me. I'll keep out of your way. Okay, puzzle pieces. Upon entering the courtyard, Sachi immediately begins watering the rows of flowers. If you forget the strange fact that it's taking place in a Japanese school, this little scene of a maid caring for the flower bed is truly picturesque. Are those purple flowers verbenas? Bijozakura. You're pretty knowledgeable. That's kind of above and beyond, but well done. I see, you're a diligent one. Oh. All of a sudden, Sachi stops moving her watering can. She bends down and opens a flower bowl with her hand, carefully examining it. Something wrong? Crouching down next to her to take a look, I quickly understand why she's so concerned. One of the flower petals is almost entirely covered in white, as if someone dusted it with powder. You mean like chalk powder? Looks like flower disease. What? Why do sparkles? At my words, Sachi looks at me with eyes full of anticipation. Sorry, but that doesn't mean it's edible. It's more commonly known as powdery mildew disease. You see a lot when you're growing wheat or grapes. Oh wait, she was thinking it was food? It's caused by a parasitic fungus, so the most effective response will probably be using chemical fungicides on the affected plants. Sakinzai. If you ask the principal, I'm sure she'll get some for you. What is it? Something on your mind? He is quite knowledgeable on a lot of things. Not in particular. Guess I'm actually pretty similar to you in this respect, Sachi. Somebody told me to read books, and I've just been following those orders. After a while, a lot of random trivia just accumulated in my head. It does come in handy every so often. Sachi doesn't respond to my words verbally, but a smile seems slightly brighter than usual. And what else are we doing? So where are we headed next? That's so? The conversation becomes to an abrupt end. We walk on in silence. Just go to the toilet. After a little while, we arrive in the front of the girls' bathroom. Hey, Sachi, mind if I stop you for a second here? If we take another step forward here, I'm going to be trespassing into the girls' bathroom. And you don't have a problem with that? What? What?
もしその現場を他の誰かに見られた場合、風見さんの信用を著しく損なう恐れがあると思いますけど。
You're probably not wrong. Seems she at least understands that a man entering a female restroom is not generally considered acceptable. Well, that's good to know. Ah, the grand bathroom. I remember this right near the beginning of the game. Damn. So next up is cleaning the grand bathroom.
はい。この時間帯にお風呂に入ろうとする人は少ないので、いつもこのくらいに掃除をすることが多いです。
You planning to do it by yourself today as usual?
そうですね。私は分身したり、自分そっくりのロボットを作ったりする力は持っていないので。
True. Don't think I can help you on that front myself. That said, she could at least try asking one of the others for assistance once in a while. Maybe it has something to do with her firm set of beliefs about her responsibilities as class representative? While I'm pondering the matter, Sachi has already calmly begun her work. I'd stop in the hot water that's constantly trickling into the oversized bath. She begins to lightly rinse the other areas of the bathroom using the shower head. It would be weird if Sachi had a shower head. And woo, she's moving. From the quick, confident movements of her hands, it's obvious that she's repeated this procedure many, many times. And she's at the left. It's pretty clear that Michiru or Amane helping is a rare event. I think she's effectively been cleaning this place all by herself for a long time now. Excuse me? What was that? Oh, she's scrubbing? Since I did tell Sachi I'd stay out of her way, it was my intention not to interfere with her works as much as possible, but just standing here watching as my classmate does manual labour feels pretty awkward. Hey, Sachi.
Hi.
This is just an offer, but how about I help out as well? Hey!
ここの掃除は風見さんが頼まれたわけではないですし。
It's not yours either. Yeah, but I'd like to help as long as I wouldn't get in the way. What do you say? Aw, we're helping her.
そうですね。
Oh.
風見さんはどことなく不思議な力が使えたりしそうな雰囲気があるので、
wow, okay.
その力を駆使して手伝っていただけると助かるかもしれません。
Alright, then we're gonna help. Unfortunately, I don't have any supernatural skills, but I do have some confidence in my basic physical capabilities.
わかりました。では、体力を駆使してよろしくお願いします。
Sure. And we're cleaning. We're done cleaning. Okay, let's get down to it. Your orders? She doesn't give orders. どうした？
実は私、人に指示を出すのがあまり得意ではなくて。
I see. In that case, you want me to give the commands?
はい、その方が助かります。
Got it. We're dividing the bathroom in two halves. Sachi, continue to work on that area from the entrance to the right wall. I'll assume responsibility for the left half. Our objective will be to finish the work in 15 minutes. Is that acceptable?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. A good response. Having completed the division of labour, I quietly moved my brush along the tilted floor, precisely imitating Sachi's movements as I observed them earlier. Throwing yourself into a mindless task like this every once in a while isn't such a bad thing. Let's maintain your ability to concentrate. Oh! Sachi lets that small cry and there is the sound of something toppling over. What fell? What fell, Sachi? When I turn around, I find Sachi sitting on her backside on the bathroom floor. She seems somewhat dazed. You plan to clean the floor with your clothes instead of the brush? Wait, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Sachi, don't do that, please. No, don't, please. In a gesture that's grown increasingly familiar to me, Sachi nods her head vigorously several times. Seems to be the sign she's absorbing a new idea. So first things first, any injuries?
少し床のタイルを傷めたかもしれません。
That's not a problem. Let's continue the job. I reach out my hand to Sachi, who hasn't budged from the bathroom floor during this conversation.
はい。
Come on, Sachi, we're finishing this. After helping Sachi to her feet and confirming that she's alright, I return to my own work. Oof. Seriously, the more you look at this gigantic bathroom, the more it seems out of place in a student dormitory. It's sizable enough that even a grown man would likely get tired trying to clean it alone. Oh, she's sneezing. And again, this academy is dramatically over-equipped in nearly every respect. Considering the tiny number of students currently enrolled here, the one area where they show moderate restraint is the small faculty, but even then, every class is led by a lecturer with special expertise in their particular field. Well, I suppose the economic efficiency of this place isn't really my problem. And she's still sneezing. Oh dear. She got a cold. Does. What's with the chirping? Do we have sparrows trapped in here? There we go, got it. Oh my god, she's actually clean. She actually took the idea to... On a turn back, in search of the wayward songbird, I find Sachi in an inexplicable state of undress. What on earth are you wearing?
パンツ一丁でしょうか。
She's got her bra on as well, so I think underwear would be a more precise description. No. See, I was trying to ask why you've taken off your maid uniform because I gave her the suggestion.
それは先ほど転んだ時に服が濡れてしまったので、どうせならもっと効率のいい方法で掃除をしようと思った結果です。
And so you wrapped your uniform around the head of the brush and started dragging it across the floor.
はい、風見さんの一言から思いついた名案です。グッジョブです。
Good jobじゃないよ. I suppose a closed brush is contacting more of the floor at once than the standard version. I'm more than a little dubious about how effective a cleaning instrument it is. In exchange, you're standing around in your underwear in front of a member of the opposite sex. Any thoughts on that?
ダメで。
Oh, she's sneezing and everything. I'm sorry, but I'm not familiar with the language of the sparrows.
ダメでしょうか。
Well, not for me. I'm not the sort to complain about a free show.
それなら問題ありませんね。
Oh, come on. And she's still going. As soon as the words are out of her mouth, Sachi gets back to work, completely nonchalant. Things have gotten troublesome all of a sudden. There may not be any major problems at present, but if, say, I'm unable to walk in right now, I think there's a good possibility I get dragged into an interrogation even lengthier than the one that followed the JP incident. And the second worst person foul, which is Yumiko. At this point, I notice Sakaki standing frozen just inside the entrance. Plan to take a bath in your clothes?
その必要もなくなったわ。たった今ね。
Even as she spits out her retort, Sakaki's suspicious glare stays glued to Sachi and her bizarre appearance.
その格好はどうしたの？風見さんが
of course she mentions me. No, you took it out of context. Hold on, Sachi. There are a number of problems with your attempt at explaining the situation.
じゃあ本当のところはどうだって言うの？
I'm a prior offender.
前例があるし、返答によっては許さないのよ。
Okay. Prior offender. Well, you're talking about that one time she came to school in her underwear. That was the box cutter. Sakagi reached into her pocket of her skirt and retrieved the usual item. So she carries her self-defense stationery with her even into the bath. It's a really cautious individual. So you can learn a thing or two from her example. I think I mentioned this before, but that thing isn't going to work on me. As for the reason Sachi's in her underwear, she decided this would be a more efficient method of cleaning and took off her clothes on her own initiative.
So...
Yes. Although I offered my explanation fully expecting it to be rejected, Sakaki accepts my words surprisingly easily. She's gonna attack. Seems she's familiar enough with Sachi's lack of common sense that even a bizarre story like this sounds perfectly plausible. So anyway, the bra bath is reserved for cleaning at the moment. Oh. What? Bye then? At this announcement, Sakaki abruptly turns and walks out of the bathroom, her long hair streaming behind her. As for Sachi, she's already restarted her cleaning as if nothing had happened. The females in this school seem to be somewhat lacking in the shade department. Or perhaps my preconceptions on this matter are as old-fashioned as wearing a pager on your hip. Maybe this is just the way things are nowadays. Seems like I've still got quite a lot to learn. Sachi, you're really something. In a lot of ways. That's a compliment and not a compliment at the same time. I have a truly unlimited number of unresolved questions here, but one in particular stands out. Why is it that this girl can strip to her underwear in front of a man without even batting an eyelid, but blushes bright red when you give her anything resembling a compliment? Female thought processes are truly complex. You're not wrong there. Oh my god. In this way, a day spent in close observation of my classmate comes to an end. And starting the very next day, there's a clear change in my environment. Meaning? Oh, here we go, what's next? She's wearing a uniform. Specifically this. Sachi suddenly moved from her habitual set directly in front of the teacher's podium to the desk immediately next to mine. Or, not that she started pressing her blubber against me. When it started, she just changed her seat. Not a particularly dramatic event, really.
Hey, Yuji,
Wait, me? I'd like to hear an explanation myself, honestly. But first of all, can you stop interrogating me as if I'm an unfaithful husband? Please. But this small change seems to have taken everyone around me by surprise, prompting general curiosity. No? Oh, an interesting scenario. Where would things go from there? You said it yourself. I don't remember making you reveal your sick and twisted mind. Yeah. And she's right out with it. As Machina plunges into the heart of the matter, the other two inquisitors catch their breath in anticipation. Oh. And why exactly would she suddenly prefer this seat? Was nearly walking into a girl's bathroom together that much of a bonding experience? His knee hurts. No dear. Oh. Ah. Having grasped the nature of the question, Sachi closes her eyes in thought. So why?
はい。風見さんが悪い人ではないということは分かりましたが、まだ恋心を抱いたわけではありませんから。そうなんだ。
Well, I don't want it on my bed. Do I? Uh-huh.
はい。
You're lucky I didn't hit you with the actual paper. Who's better as slap, mine or yours?
Mine make better sound.
No, don't make a better sound because I don't want you to overload my microphone.
No, my slaps actually do make better sound than Yuusha's hurt.
Well, that means mine are louder.
No, mine give off the sound, but yours hurt.
Doesn't get knowledge. Sachi simply answers the question and put it to her in a steady, bland tone of voice. That hasn't changed at all from the day I met her.
早くも振られちゃったわね、ユージ。
Hey, you look happy now. Yeah, before I even make my move. That's a new record.
本当になんとなくなの？
Yeah, nakanaru.
本当になんとなく。
Nantanaku. There's a slight smile on Sachi's face as she speaks. I'm pretty confident she's speaking with a complete honesty.
でも、まだということは、これから好きになる可能性はあるということよね。
Yes. That can also happen. I spent an entire day with her yesterday, but Sachi's thoughts are still beyond my understanding. But it seems clear that her opinion of me has undergone a subtle change of some sort.
小峰さん、少しいいかしら。
Uh-oh, she's gonna give her the order, isn't she?
悪いんだけど少し頼みたいことが。それより赤ちゃん言葉でペットに話しかける癖を直した方がいい。
Oh, wow.
どうして小峰さんがそのことを。
Uh-oh.
私、小峰さんに何かした？
Well, that happened. It's pretty well known that rabbits can die if they get lonely enough. You might assume that means you should be petting your bunnies at all times, but in fact excessive contact can stress their nerves badly enough to inspire escape attempts. Moderation is the rule in our interactions with other creatures. But human beings have a hard time finding that balance even when we try. All too often, we clumsily misjudge the appropriate distance, or stumble in our attempts to maintain it. Whoa. Heikky. Yeah, sounds bad. Crisis, to be sure. A recess period, Makina pops up noisily before my eyes, then proceeds to grab at my clothes and shake me back and forth. Oh, hello. I ward her off with one hand. Paying little attention to the specific content of her squawking. Well, I assume he's just babbling. Can't say I'm sensing a whole lot of danger right now. Oh. I can't do anything about my face. Leaving that aside, I suppose it wouldn't do good to ignore a global crisis. That's a pretty dramatic drop in scale, you little punk. I don't think that happens in real life. What the hell are you even talking about?
まあ、世界やら世界はともかくとして、私たちの半径1キロ圏内において重要な事柄であることには間違いないと思うよ。
Okay, why that whore? Machina is one thing, but if Harmony is backing her up, I guess this does warrant my attention.
何の話してるの？皆さんで集まってどういった要件でしょう
Is
か？
Sakaki going to be nearby? I have a feeling this is going to get out of hand if everyone jumps into the conversation. But just as I'm about to shoo away the two late arrivals... Oh! Huh? For some reason, Harmony jabs out of her finger in my direction and powerfully declares something or other. I'd appreciate if you can explain what it is a little more comprehensibly than that.
だからね、その有事の言う全員ってのがそもそもの問題なわけなのよ。
Really? Why? Okay. Don't. I have no idea what this woman is talking about. Does leading a normal student life require the ability to find enjoyment in this sort of vague, meaningless riddle? In that case, I've still got a ways to go.
ほら、全員って言うには一人足りないでしょ？
We're missing Sakaki. Oh, so we're talking about Sakaki. We're finally on the same page. I use the word everyone when only 5 of us are here. Amine is suggesting my unconscious exclusion of Sakaki Yumiko from the group suggests a problem in our social dynamic.
そう、こうして休み時間になるとたまに姿を消し、いたとしても本を読んで他人からの干渉をシャットアウト。
Shut out. Well, she does do that.
榊さん、それで本当にいいのって思ったわけ。
She's keeping her distance out of her own free will, so presumably this is how she wants to be. I don't think it's necessarily something we need to worry about.
これまでそうしてきたことが逆に悪循環だったかもしれないじゃない。もっと積極的にコミュニケーションを取れば変わる可能性もあるとは思わない？
Hadn't thought of it that way, but she might be onto something. Sakaki's a human being after all. Much as her box cutter brandishing mischief may stand out, letting those moments of hostility prejudice all of our interactions with her means giving up on all hope of mutual understanding.
あの女、あれで絶対誘い受けだぜ。構ってほしいくせに周りにチヤホヤされたら迷惑そうに被害者面すんのよさ。多分。
How do you reach that conclusion? Do you have any evidence whatsoever?
知らねえ。テンプレだとそうなってんだよ。
Template. Okay, you can stop talking now.
そうかもしれないけど、私やっぱちょっと怖いな。
ちょっと怖い。
何かあるとすぐにギラッとくるじゃん、氷の笑みが。
はい、そうですね。特にみちる様はその笑みの対象になるケースが非常に多く、私としても心中穏やかではありません。
やっぱそうなの。私狙い撃ち。
Probably.
ともかく市場は捨てましょう。でね、私ちょっと考えたんだけど、誰が一番榊さんと仲良くなれるかを競うってのは
Who
ど
can
う
get
かなって。
friendliest? A contest?
ど
Sure.
んな風に？ そうね、例えば手に触れたら1点とか、服とか袖を引っ張ったら3点とか。
Grab a part of her frickin' collar and you get 10 points and death. Is it my imagination or is this sounding increasingly fishy? Also potentially dangerous.
ユミちゃんは髪の毛が綺麗で長いのよさ。
Yep.
じゃあ触れただけなら1点、引っ張ったら3点、
Hold on it.
抜いたら5点でどう？
No! We'll make her go bald.
切った場合は？
Oh.
おお、攻めるわね。じゃあ切ったセンチメートルかける10点でどうかしら。
Sachi's just gonna win.
なかなかの高得点ね。
Yeah.
私が本気を出せばユミちゃんの頭を焼け野原みたいにするのなんて造作もないことなのよさ。
Oh no. Okay, I'm starting to get slightly concerned. Can we slow down for a second here? Are you all seriously going to do this? My voice of restraint falls on deaf ears. The rest of the group is getting more fired up by the second.
榊さんが読んでいる本を取り上げた場合はどうなるのでしょうか？
Publicly hanged.
それじゃあ100点。でも
100？
その本を榊さんの頭にかぶせたら1万点。
1万点？
逆に本に榊さんを読ませたらなんと5万点よ。
すごいです。一発逆転のロマンがありますね。
Book reading Sakaki? What does that even mean? Please explain in detail. Please. Was it a surreal gag? Did Amine trip over her tongue in her increasingly frantic excitement? At this rate, I'll likely never know the truth. The bizarre conversation rolls forward, momentum building by the second. You'd think everyone involved was hitting the peak of a chemical-induced high. It might just be my imagination, but sometimes I think I may have found my way into a fairly deranged excuse for a learning environment.
じゃあ勝負は次の休み時間に。
What?
一番榊さんと仲良くなれた人の勝ちということで。
Taking all those things is considered more stalker-like than actual freaking friend-like. Jeez. This
や
is
り
a
がいがあり
bad.
ますね。
This is a bad idea.
負けないわよ。
Yeah, Michiru, you're gonna die. Do you people actually hate Sakaki or what? The enthusiastic group of conspirators doesn't dignify my perfectly reasonable question with a response. Well, damn it. Tragically for Sakaki, the next recess period arrives all too quickly.
いいこと？ユージも榊さんにバラしたりしちゃダメだからね。
So wait, I
わ
can't?
かっ
Got that.
お兄ちゃんは得点係だから
I'm the scorer! So I'm gonna see possibly all these people die before my eyes. Great. Fine, fine, let's get this over with. To be honest, I seriously doubt this is going to get us any closer with Sakaki, but giving the game away would probably make things just as awkward in its own way. And so I've adopted the typically Japanese policy of watching passively over the situation from a safe distance. She knows. Sakaki Yumiko, the unexplored territory, the final frontier. Seated at her desk, face buried in a thick book, her body language projects a desire to be left alone.
榊さん、ちょっと今いい？
The Saw anime expedition takes the first daring step into the wilderness. I'm doing a David Atsupa freaking talkover. Her approach appears impressively natural. Woman's something of a skilled actress, apparently. Of course, she could probably be putting that talent to better use than this, but...
何？私たちね、榊さんがいない間にちょっと話し合ったんだけど。何か陰湿な話かしら。いや、そんなんじゃなくてね。
Sakaki coolly throws out a perspective question without bothering to look up from her book, prompting a flustered denial from Amane.
私たちこれまで榊さんの気持ちを考えずに接してきたんじゃないかと反省したんです。
Oh.
そうそれよ。
どういう意味？
Mm.
榊さんが望むなら
No
私
David
たちも
Attenborough for now.
榊さんの意向を邪魔しないように、あまりお互いに干渉しないようにしようかなって。そう。例えば？
ねえユミちゃん、今どんな本読んでるのよさ。
Makina tries to snatch away the book with surprise attack, but is forcibly rebuffed by Sakaki, who's clearly in a state of heightened awareness. Makina clicks her tongue in irrepressible frustration. She'd been gambling on taking the big points with that opportunity, but sadly her moments have passed with nothing more than 1 point hand touch.
約1名。今の話の趣旨を全く理解してないみたいだけど。
Oh.
もうマキナ、あんたまた勝手なことして。
すみません榊さん、マキちゃんが急にあんなことして手をひねったりされてませんか？
だからといってわざわざあなたが手を触る必要があるのかしら。
They're all just casually touching her hand. Really?
万が一のこともありますから念のために確認を。手のひらと指は大丈夫ですね。あと手首はと。
さすがさっちゃん。他人の失敗を自らの得点として引っ
Yes,
張
he
るとは。
has.
ならないのよさ。
Yep. Amane and Makina quietly mutter to each other, careful to keep out of Sakaki's earshot. The palm of Sakaki's hand and her fingers are pretty much a package deal. It's only worth 1 point for the pair with the addition of the wrist. Sachi's jumped into an early lead with 2 points.
もうさっちゃんってば、さっきの話をしたすぐ後にそんなことしてたら榊さんに変な子みたいに思われちゃうわよ。それで、どうして私をバンバン叩くのよ。
Huh? She's just pounding on him.
あ
Just
ら、
like...
ごめんなさい。お姉ちゃん間違えてしもたわ。ねえねえ、知ってる？向こうのおばちゃんってすぐこうやって人叩くねんな。
Really?
さらに叩くのやめてほしいんだけど。
Thumping 5 points, and she just executed a 5-hit combo. Make an excellent use of her folksy Kansai girl act. Amane sees her 25 points in the blink of an eye. The old lady reference also seems like a clever play, taking advantage of the difference in their ages. But expressing my admiration on this point would likely lead to a new conflict. I exercise discretion and keep my trap shut.
たまね、こんな風にバンバン叩いたらユミちゃんに失礼じゃないのよさ。
You're doing it as well, Makina.
ねえユミちゃん。
あなたの方がよっ ほど失礼よ。
I thought the balance of power had shifted to Amane. Makina uses her established thoughtlessness as cover to launch a new series of attacks, quickly acquiring 40 points. Keeping up with scoring is beginning to prove challenging in its own right.
あれユミコ、制服のボタン取れてない？
No?
あ、いや、なんでもないです。その榊さん。
Sakaki anticipates Michiru's approach and brings it to a premature halt with her powerful glare. The pseudo-synthere wilts like a potted plant under the desert sun.
確かにボタン取れてますよ。はい。
Bloody hell, Sachi! Seizing the moment once again, Sachi deftly plucks a button from Sakaki's uniform, then holds it out for inspection on the palm of her hand.
そう。ありがとう。
いい、当然のことですから。
Sakaki's clearly dubious in comparison. Sachi's beaming from ear to ear. She's got guts to launch a bold attack like that under such risky circumstances. In deference to our dauntless soul of a maid, I mentally award 50 points, bringing Sachi's total of to 52. She's regained the lead in a flash.
よろしければ。
This is gonna end so badly.
お付けしますが。
勝手になさい。
Aww.
お任せ
I
く
feel
ださい。
bad for Sakaki now.
ちょっと服を引っ張らないでよ。
Oh yeah, that's 3 points.
申し訳ありません。針を通すもので、少しこちらに寄っていただけると。
She's so quick to figure this on the spot. Sachi launches a follow-up attack, pulling on Sakaki's school uniform as her 3 points, bringing her to a total of 55.
それでなぜあなたは反対側を引っ張るのよ。
のび太分、バランスよくしといた方がいいかと思ったのよさ。迷惑だったか？
はっきりと迷
Yeah,
惑だ
dear.
じゃあ元に戻すな。
内側に引っ張ってて元に戻らないわよ。
Makina adds 2 tugs for a total of 6 points, which is a score of 46. She's hot on Sachi's heels.
あなたたち、一体何を企んでい
She's
るの？
caught on. Sakaki's not completely oblivious by this point. She's clearly realised that she's become the group's plaything. Her voice has a dangerous edge to it.
もうそんなことないってば。せっかくの綺麗な髪に白髪ができちゃうわよ。そんなわけないでしょ。ごまかさないで。でまた触らないで。
What the hell are you
で
doing?
もほら枝毛。
Huh?
嘘もつかないで。いや本当よ。ここ。
Oh. Amane seems to have discovered a genuine split end. Sakaki falters for a moment, obviously thrown off her balance. Devious as Amane may be at times, I don't think this was planned out beforehand.
別に気にしないわ。この程度。
Oh.
そういうわけにはいかないでしょ。身だしなみくらいしとかないとズボラでみっともない女になっちゃうわよ。
Oh dear. Sakaki attempts to bury the split end in her thick hair, but Amane smoothly intercedes and takes up position behind it. She's going to take the hairs. Compared to the clearly unnatural interactions earlier, this is a convincingly normal development from a neutral perspective. It appears an action of pure goodwill and friendliness on Amane's part. Accordingly, Sakaki proves unable to offer any firm resistance. 2, 3 touches of the hair. Of course, unbeknownst to her, Amane is racking up points by the second.
マネーミ、いいポジションに入り込んだのよさ。
Having won Sakaki's trust for the moment, Amane no longer has any need to employ risky aggressive tactics. She slowly and steadily racks up the points, Makina and Sachi's face grow increasingly tense with desperation.
何よ。本当に綺麗な髪だと思って。あ、枝毛どうしよう。抜いちゃってもいいの？あ、私枝毛切り持ってるから私が。
Huh?
わかったわよ。あまねにお願いするからそんなに睨まないでよ。
Aww.
ありがとう、みちる。
なんで私だけ？
Because you're Michiru. Dots. Michiru is painful just to watch you. The girl's thoughts are written too plainly on her face, especially when she's up to no good. Sakaki's going to shoot her down every time. Perhaps this will inspire her to take a good long look at herself. Maybe not. I don't think it will. On the other extreme, Amane is already coasting into a leisurely victory lap. Combing through Sakeki's long hair, she snips out the split ends with the scissors she borrowed from Michiru. As she's racking up another 10 points of every centimetre she harvests, she's already well into triple digits. Although Sakaki's keeping her expression blank, her reaction to Amane's fiddling with her hair appears to be something like relaxed boredom. Putting aside the points and the silly contest, it seems like they really might be getting friendlier.
ユミちゃん、決闘しよう決闘。友情が芽生えるまで殴り合おう。
Huh?
お断りよ。榊さん、面白そうな本をお持ちですね。よろしければ私にも
Oh, she's going for the big one.
不穏だから嫌。
Huh? Magana has actually tried her best to claw back into the fight, but Sakaki's on high alert. Her hands are tied. At this point, it's no exaggeration to say the match is all but decided.
はーい、終わったわ。みちるもハサミありがとう。
Very soon, the chime heralding the end of the recess period would sound. At that moment, this battle would be concluded as well. Sitting comfortably on a commanding lead, Amane refrains from touching Sakaki's hair longer than necessary, bringing the grooming session to a natural end. Long sits out of the running, Michiru seems destined to end the match with an inept 0 points. Oh. As Amane hands over the scissors, they slip through the dejected Michiru's hands and clatter against the floor. As a side note, don't get this idea that Michiru's only careless when depressed. That sort of thing happens all the time.
あ、ごめんごめん。大丈夫。
あったあった。
What'd she do? She found something. Dropping down under the desks, Michiru crawls forward a bit in the direction of the group. Picking up her scissors, she immediately begins to stand up.
ちょっとそんなところで立ち上がったの？
Huh? As Michiru's head lunges toward her like the world's clumsiest uppercut, Sakaki instinctively reaches out of her hands to defend herself. Of course, in those hands, she's still holding the book she's been protecting all this time. Oh. What?
あ？
In the next instance, Sakaki's frozen in place. Her book, knocked violently out of her hands, now rests on top of her head. Apparently unable to process the situation, Sakaki stands perfectly still. Sakaki's face is blank with dazed confusion. The hardcover book lies open across the crown of her head like some bizarre helmet. How did it manage to get on there? It's such a big book as well, it's the size of a head. It's truly a surreal moment. I find myself staring blankly, utterly lost for words. Megan has already burst into an explosion of tactless laughter, and Arne is trying to and failing to contain her own amusement. Sachi, on the other hand, oh my god, I can't read that. On the other hand, gazes with some bitterness at the truly astonishing bottom of the ninth. It's cut off at the bottom, I can't read that. Why? Huh? And in that moment, the bell echoes through the classroom, ending the contest. Did Michiru just win? Did Michiru just win?
結果発表。
Yep. At the next recess period, we gathered in the hallway in an attempt to avoid Sakaki's notice.
はーい。というわけで優勝はユージ発表をお願い。
I think you are well aware already. With a final score of 10,000 points earned by planting Sakaki's book on top of her head, Michiru is our champion.
悪いわねみんな。
なんか納得いかないのよ
It was
さ
an accident, though.
全くです。
悲しいわね負け犬の遠吠え。でも認めなさい。家庭はどうあれ結果が全て。
Don't know why, but I thought she would have
実
won.
力のうちってね。
It's all in its own right, okay. Michiru may have been completely nonplussed by her victory at first, but upon grasping the situation, she instantly puffed herself up like a peacock. I think it's fairly clear the girl has a lot of backed up resentment.
みんなに勝つチルチルなんてチルチルじゃないのよ
Oh, come on!
はい、みちる様らしくありません。みちる様、バランスを取るためにも、
おう
次の機会はぜひ負けてくださいませ。
そこ
Jesus.
まで言う必要ないでしょ。まあまあええやんみんな。
Amane's pissed. How many offers to group vague, soothing words in full Kansai dialect?
ところでみちる、最後のあれって狙ってたわけじゃないわよね。もちろん偶然でしょ？え？あ、いや、もちろん計算づくに決まってるじゃない。
Ichido's voice rings with bold confidence. Judging from her stilted phrasing, it's most likely a complete lie. But the words nonetheless sound fairly convincing as they echo hollowly down the hallway. Hollowly, sorry. At that moment, everyone else freezes in pure shock. With a quick survey of our surroundings. I soon learn why! I don't miss Amane's mouthing the word idiot with a slightly smug look on her face either. She's behind her. She's behind her. Her reaction to the V is to plot revenge, it would seem. Quite a woman.
でもこれで本当にユミコと少しは仲良くなれたのかしら。
No, I think not. Sorry.
なんでよ。
Because you basically harassed her. All of you.
みちるがもう無事じゃいられないからかな。
Yeah, you're about to die.
どういう意味よ。
She's behind you. Yep.
わざとだったの。
What's that? With a familiar ominous sound. The shadowy figure that snuck up behind Michiru mutters a few ice-cold words. She's sweating. The smile on Michiru's face instantly hardens into a rigid grimace. Copious streams of sweat begin to run down her forehead and along her cheeks.
どうして教えてくれなかったのよ。
At last aware of her plight, Michiru squeezes out a few whimpering words of reproach. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I just noticed a moment ago myself.
黙ってなさいって目で脅されててごめんね。可愛らしく言うな。つかまね。あんた分かってて私に聞いたでしょ。
Yeah.
てへんじゃね
え。でも安心しました。みちる様にはふさわしい終わり方でほっとしています。
Come on! She's about to be murdered.
一件落着なのよさ。なあ、ユミちゃんも。
分かってると思うけど、当然あなたたちも絶対に許さない。
Oh.
ほら、ある意味仲良くなったと思わない？
They're all gonna be gone down. You're such an optimist, Amane.
私はどうしたら。
Run. Well, probably the same thing as the rest of us. Retreat double time.
ちょっと待ちなさいよ。それはこっちのセリフだわ。
Oh dear. It's never go down as the first time in the Academy's history that all of its students were simultaneously absent from a class. But it's said that no one involved dared speak the reason why. With good reason. And I'm going to end it here. This feels like a brilliant place to end it off for now. So, thank you guys so much for joining me for this episode. And please let me know if you do want me to keep on doing this. And also don't forget, if you have any questions at all, use the hashtag #TellMeYuusha. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you want to hear more from me. And I'll see you in the next video. Sonoja, guys. I will indeed see you next time. Oh my god, that bit was hilarious. Wow.